Lewis just predicted that the Cowboys will miss the playoffs this year. What do you think?
Lewis on one this morning, I see. The Cowboys missing the playoffs? No, man. No. Hey, by the way, congratulations, Lewis. I appreciate you being on Monday Night Football. I really do, my brother. No, listen, I think the one thing we constantly talked about with the Dallas Cowboys over the past few years is it hasn't been there, the lack of talent. It hasn't been scheme. It's been coaching. We've been talking ad nauseum about Jason Garrett and his inability to get these guys to play at the level that the expectation is with the Dallas Cowboys. Now you bring in Mike McCarthy, a guy who has Super Bowl pedigree. He's won a Super Bowl with the Green Bay Packers. They're going to get those guys playing to their capabilities. They have all the weapons on offense. I think defensively, Mike Nolan, the new defensive coordinator, is going to bring new scheme, new energy to that defensive side of football. And they have an abundance of guys on the outside as far as pass rushers that can close out a game. So we know they're going to be able to score. We know they're going to be high powered. Dak is going to be in the MVP conversation. Okay, but I think now they have the coaching pedigree that's going to, elevate the Dallas Cowboys to one of the elite teams in the NFC.
All right, so that was really nicely played there, by the way. Yeah, go ahead, Lewis.
What do you got to say to me?
Okay, considering how you came into the league and who coached you and who drafted you, and when did you become one of these guys who just gets enamored with all the fancy toys and all the stars and the glitz and the glamour? When you were kind of brought up in this league to keep your head down, do your job, don't worry about talent, don't worry about what anyone else is doing, just control what you're doing. Now all of a sudden you just kind of bought into this whole, well, they got the weapons, they've got this, they've got that. Man, they haven't done anything, so they're going to have to do some things, man.
Listen, hold on, Lewis. Are you trying to tell me, Lewis, you haven't sat on this show or First Take and talked about Jason Garrett in one way or another? Have you not talked about Jason Garrett in that fashion before?
You also come from a program where continuity and consistency was why y'all were like housing everybody back in the day. They don't have any continuity or consistency. You don't know what this team is going to look like.
Wait a minute, hold on. Continuity. Are they bringing back almost everybody back on offense? Yes or no?
I'm talking about the coaching staff. The coaching staff.
They're not Lewis. Besides the defensive side of the football, offensively the scheme is going to be pretty much the same as it was last year. Maybe a couple wrinkles.
I'll tell you
what. They got the continuity on offense. That is, you're not going to mess up what they've been doing last year on offense.
Do you remember? Hey, do you remember those old Bootsy Collins glasses that Bootsy used to wear when he used to be in concert that had the stars on them? You have a pair of them sitting on your desk somewhere? Is that what you got?
Let me jump in.
Jeez, Woody.
The moment we get to the Bootsy Collins glasses, it's time for me to jump in. And as much as all of us are enjoying the debate, Domonique, let me get you in here. I can't hear you. Nick, go ahead.
Now, you look at that fancy wallpaper, and now he likes fancy things. He likes fancy receivers. He likes fancy running backs. He's enamored with it. But I agree with him. This is not the NFL that D. Wood came into. This is now a different league. It's a passing league. It's an offensive league. And offenses normally are able to repeat their greatness or come close to it more than defenses are. I think that offense was fantastic last year. I suspect it'll get better. The coaching thing matters because Mike McCarthy is not even the same Mike McCarthy of old. He spent his time away from football getting smart on analytics, understanding the modern game better. And I think this team, their offense will be great. The team would have been much better last year if their defense could merely get to average. And I think Mike Nolan and some defensive additions will get that defense to at least average, and the offense will still be outstanding. So I think it's hard to see them missing the playoff, especially when you put on top of it their strength of schedule is like 30th. They have like the second or third easiest schedule coming into this season. So I think it's going to be hard for me to understand how they missed the playoffs this year. And you put on top of that, we go from 6 teams to 7 teams. So I don't care what kind of glasses D. Wood got on or how much gold flakes he got in his wallpaper. The Cowboys are going to the playoffs.
Part of that schedule has to do with having the Giants and Washington in the division, and they had terrible records last year. But very quickly, Shefty, what are we hearing out of Dallas about the transition in the coaches and the expectations for this season?
Spent some time talking about Aaron Rodgers playing with a chip on his shoulder. Well, who comes in with a bigger chip right now than Mike McCarthy? Was fired, spent a year out of football, basically wants to come back and have a great year. And then we talk about what's at stake for Dak Prescott. He sees what Patrick Mahomes got. He sees what Deshaun Watson got. And once again, he's in the last year of his contract. So we know what's on the line for him. So we've got a motivated Mike McCarthy, a fired up Dak Prescott. And again, we'll get to talk about Dak Prescott's contract once again on this show for the remainder of the season and what he's worth.
He wants to make enough money to be able to afford that wallpaper.
Too, Schefter.
Hey, Shefty preaching that gospel this morning. Talk to him, Shefty.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.